Hey Martial Arts Journey Tribe! I'm gonna take you along with me throughout the whole day, show you how I do some of my training, show you how I do some of my YouTube stuff, reveal you some of my YouTube secrets, if that exists. We're gonna go to a conference, so we're gonna do a lot of fun stuff, beginning with a kickboxing training. So it's 8 a.m. We just arrived at the training spot where my friends are already here. We're gonna do some kickboxing training. Usually we train together with Sergey Masloboyev, but he's preparing for his professional fight, so we're on our own. We're gonna do a lot of cardio, and this beast of a sir, he is a cardio beast, and he keeps the tempo going, and I think I'm going to die every time I train with him. So let's have some fun. So the training is over. My training partner who's leading the session is, as I mentioned, a beast. He's running 7 kilometers every day and he's doing like 2 trainings every day. So, you know, it's hard to keep up with him, but we still survived, we still made it, and we're good to go to the next part of the day. So let's get going. Did you see how I just did that? Yes, I absolutely stole that from Peter McKinnon, who always does these cool transitions. But no, the thing is, personally, I think quote unquote stealing is a great practice. It's not a bad thing. I believe that the phrase that good artists copy, great artists steal initially came from Pablo Picasso, and then probably Steve Jobs just made it famous. But nevertheless, I think that's a great concept. The way I understand this phrase is that there's a difference between copying. If you just straight out copy something, I don't think that's very cool. But quote unquote stealing is when you see something that you really love, you see something and you think, man, this is great, I absolutely love it. And then you take that same thing, but you make it your own, you make it different. You give your own flavor to it, you make it even better. And I believe that a lot of YouTubers are doing that. So we're almost back home and we're ready to go to the next stage of the day. So. So this is the next stage of the day, and probably one of my favorite stages is taking this doggo of mine for a walk. Now the thing is, I consider myself to be a very ambitious person. So sometimes that works in my favor and sometimes that leads to great results, but also that sometimes or usually leads to a burnout. So whenever I walk my dog, I actually don't consider myself walking my dog. I actually consider that he's taking me out for a walk, because then I get to, you know, chill in the sun, have a walk, just relax for a bit. Because if it's not for my dog, probably it would be way harder for me to take a walk in fresh air. So kudos to him. So stage 3 is a very important part as well, and that's making sure I spend plenty of time with my girlfriend.
And Grinches.
And Grinches, the dog. One of the mistakes I did in my life previously was I thought that, you know, you live your life and there's a relationship and it kind of happens on its own, things just take care of itself. And that when you have free time, you spend the time with your girlfriend. What I did learn is that actually a relationship is something that you have to nurture. You have to make sure you spend plenty of time with the other half, that it should be a priority as any other priority in your life, and that you should devote time for it. So there we go. We're sitting and having breakfast, which is also a very important part of the day. 12 a.m., our usual time. And also it's very important because if my girlfriend doesn't get to eat, she becomes hangry. There you go. So the next stage is creating some YouTube videos. And yes, my home is as dark as in the Batcave. So when I prepare to make some of my YouTube videos, first of all, I categorize them in 2 main different types: an investigative video or a story-based video. Today, I will show you how I go through the process of making an investigative video. So first of all, I go through the process of gathering information. So for example, the next video is going to be about Steven Seagal versus Jackie Chan. I know a fair bit about Steven Seagal, but I don't know that much about Jackie Chan. And one of the questions that came up for me and that I was interested to ask is, can he really fight? Would he be able to handle himself in a real fight? I have to do my best to gather as much information to make arguments that make sense. So after about 20 minutes of searching online, I'm still nowhere near a clear answer. These investigations that I do, they do take a long time. And right now you're seeing just the tip of an iceberg. Sometimes my investigations take from an hour to 8 hours. It really depends on what I'm searching for. But in this case, I think I will have to do quite a bit of digging. So the next stage of how I make my videos is the stage of writing a script. So for the Steven Seagal versus Jackie Chan video, I still haven't gathered all the necessary data, so I can't really write a script yet. But instead, for the sake of curiosity, I'll just show you how a script looks like. So for example, this one is about my investigation about Bujinkan. It's 14 pages, and there you go. This is how it looks. It takes about 2 to 4 hours, maybe 5 max. Then the next stage is filming. The recording of video takes around an hour. If it's a really long script, it can take up to 2 hours. Then the stage after that, yes, we're not yet finished, is video editing. In the past, I used to be much more lazy about editing. I used to be what I call a 20-80 guy, meaning I would put 20% of effort in order to get 80% result. And I've been like that for a long time. But lately, I became fascinated about taking the extra mile, trying to make them more entertaining, more interesting to watch, and just, yeah, much more better quality. So this process takes a while as well. And if I really put the extra effort, I find that I can edit 2 minutes of video in about an hour, or sometimes a single minute takes about an hour. So for example, this video, 16 minutes long. This video took me at least 10 hours to edit, maybe even up to 12-15. And then there is the hardest part, which doesn't take as long time, but it's a headache. You want to guess it? Did you guess thumbnail and title? If you did, you're correct. The thing is, the title and the thumbnail make a big difference. Some of the videos I made, they were the exact same videos, but with a certain title and thumbnail. Very few people watched it. And then I changed the thumbnail and title, and suddenly it became one of my most watched videos. And the video was exactly the same. So it's really frustrating that so much depends on the title and thumbnail. That's why it's important to spend quite a bit of time working on them. And if you take a look at my previous projects, this is the most recent video that I released. So there's one attempt at a thumbnail, a second attempt, a third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And then regarding the title, again, that's a whole headache as well, finding the right amount of symbols, trying to imagine and think, okay, what people will be most interested to click and what will actually represent the video. So yeah, it's a long and frustrating process, but probably this process takes about an hour or 2 hours, but it's an exhausting process, unfortunately. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So with that being covered, let's make a cool transition and let's head on to the next stage. So our current location is an exposition hall, I guess. It's essentially where big conferences are held. A friend of mine is organizing here a story selling event, and he asked me to give a lecture about how you can tell stories for YouTube. And today's the rehearsal day, so let's go check it out. So back in my Aikido days, I used to do a lot of such conferences. I used to be a part of these conferences. But when I dropped Aikido, I kind of became a master of none, and there was not much use for me. But lately, I'm getting more and more attention as a YouTuber because I kind of know how YouTube works, and I get invited to read a lecture here, give a talk here. But honestly, I'm kind of avoiding doing that because every time I invest energy somewhere outside of my channel doing something which is not related directly to making my own videos, that's time I feel like I kind of wasted because, I'm not doing the thing which I'm the best at. But this one is an exception. It's a friend of mine who's organizing this, and yeah, I'm still talking about YouTube, so I guess it counts. So we are back home, but we still have a couple more stages left. And the next stage I call recovery stage. Yes, we do. Personally, I'm a big fan of recovery stuff. When I used to train like crazy in my teen years, I created a lot of problems for my body, but recovery helped me with all of them. So one of the things I love doing is foam rolling. It can be painful like hell, but after doing some foam rolling, I always feel better. Another thing I fell in love with is a massaging gun. Always wanted to have one, and recently a company called Hydra Gun sent me one to try out. Many times when you try some fancy gimmick, you try it for 1 day, you try it for 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, and you're done. But the massage gun, I really liked it. It has been a couple of months that I have pilot and I use it all the time. It does make my muscles feel better, and I feel it does help in my recovery. If you're gonna be interested to try it out, I'll leave a discount code down at the top of the comments. Now, the last but not least important part of the day is entertainment and relaxation. Usually me and my girlfriend are usually either playing video games, watching some movies, or anime. We just finished watching Haikyuu, which we loved. Right now we're playing this game called XCOM by sharing this one gamepad. But unfortunately my girlfriend is away today, so I'll be playing on my own, and at the moment I'm playing Resident Evil 4. I just finished beating Resident Evil 2. I beat it on hard mode, which I'm quite proud of. And for watching TV shows, right now I'm watching The Sopranos. So there you go, that's how a day in my life as a life of a martial arts YouTuber, I guess, looks like. What do you think? Is your day different? Let me know in the comments. And until we'll see each other in the next video, keep owning your journey. Yes, got us.